Rightio guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be continuing on with the revival of my Land Rover Series 3. So as you would have seen, if you watched the first video, we had a look at the clutch and the brakes, and unfortunately they don't work. You just push the clutch down, it's got no feel behind it, and that is partly due to the old master cylinder being cooked. It has a lot of nasties in there. I don't know if you can see. I've cleaned it out a bit better than it originally was. It was pretty much caked up to the top with old cruddy brake fluid, and unfortunately it is seized in the compressed position for the clutch, or the disengaged position. So I could faff about and try and get it unseized, which would probably work. I'd probably be able to find some way to get it unseized. But then once I get it unseized, obviously the bore's probably toasted. I'd have to hone that out. Then after that, you'd have to get new seals, and all up probably end up costing me much more than the price of a new Clutch Pro master cylinder, sorry. So this one, $40, done and dusted, pretty cheap. Looks to be exactly the same as the other one, so hopefully it fits up quite nicely. One thing I've noticed is that this little adapter here for the hard line will need to be taken out and put in the new slave cylinder. This new slave cylinder also has different nuts, or a thread size for the pin that goes into your master cylinder. They're coarse threads, whereas the original Series 3 slave cylinder has Unified National Fine Thread, or UNF. So yeah, you will have to get nuts to suit that. You cannot use the old nuts for it, which is not a problem. But yeah, so what we're going to do today, obviously fit this up. I also want to try and see if we can get the brakes to bleed out, whether it's just because they've got no fluid in it that they don't work. That's what I'm guessing, or whether when we get fluid in there, there's another underlying problem with the brakes. But other than that, we'll do those two things, and I also have a rear tyre I need to fix up, and then once we've done that, we may be able to get it moving in today's video. Pretty solid. Got our little fitting here, drop that in. There's a 5/8 socket on this little head here to take it out. Nip it up, that'll be well enough. Alrighty, fitting's now in. So that is our master cylinder, ready to go back into the vehicle. Alrighty, so I don't know how well you can see that. I don't know how well you can see me obviously get all the bolts and stuff in, or how well you can hear me at all, as there's quite a gale blowing around at the moment. But we got to put these bolts in this way to support the slave cylinder. This basically just holds the flange, this flange here, to the mounting bracket. So we've got one bolt in there, that's the hardest one to get at. We also have this one here, which sits at the top of the flange. So it goes there. Why they didn't weld these in, I don't know. They should have actually welded the bolts here themselves into the frame, as they're a right turd to put in and get out. And I guess that's just how they did it back in the day. I put the washer on one end actually, that's probably how it was supposed to go. Just try not to drop it down the footwell. There we go, that's one in. This one here can go up the top. Actually, I might leave that one. I'll leave that for a bit. We gotta put that in last. Nothing with the master. I've threaded this adjustment nut all the way up the thread. You've got to put one on first, and just sort of ease your way into the mount like that. Then your bolt all lined up. You have to make sure you line up your adjuster with the pedal too, like so. Lift up your slave cylinder, our master cylinder, sorry, so that it goes in. There we go. That's getting close. What I might do is I'll quickly pop this top one in so that it holds it into place. Like so. There we are. Put our nut on so it is supported. I'm so happy I'll clean these threads up. They are such a nuisance, is the nicest way to put it, to get off last time. I wanted to take the slave cylinder out. The master cylinder, sorry. I keep calling it a bloody slave cylinder. Yeah, when I had to take the old master cylinder out, they were such a nuisance to get out. Especially the bottom one, this one down in here. So annoying. So I'll pop this nut on. Hopefully they'll be a bit easier now that I've cleaned the threads up, as I said. We can only see. So there we go. That appears to be in place. Oh, most of these bolts, I should say, appear to be seated. Oh, we'll go and get some tools and we'll do them up. Got me tools. We've got a 1/2 inch ratchet and a 1/2 inch spanner. Do this top one up first. Just hold this master cylinder in place. There we go. That's the easiest one done. Now what we'll do, I'll probably have to get a spanner in the footwell now. So I'll do the bottom one up. You've already seen me do the top one, but I'll do the bottom one up not on camera because it's a little bit harder. You got to put a spanner up through the footwell where the clutch pedal goes in, and yeah, it's very tricky. So, oh well, that's just the way the Land Rovers are. So we'll get to it. Get crack-a-lacking. Rightio, so now we've got both adjusting nuts on. I've adjusted it so there's it's not super tied up on it, like it's got a little bit of free play there, but not enough that it would be too much that we won't get the right amount of clutch travel out of it. So what we're going to do now is use our 1/2 inch spanner once again, and we're going to tighten up the adjustments on it, and I'll get back to you once they've done that, because after that we'll be able to put our, wherever it's gone, there, our hard line on, and fill the clutch up with fluid and start bleeding it out. Rightio, so we'll fill it up with some fluid now. Get this bloody cap off. Nicely sealed. That's how that works. Press that into the cap. So obviously it's not supposed to be like that. Okay. Caps all sorted. Let's put some fluid in. It's too far. Yeah, there we go, she's bubbling out. So I know I'd call that semi-bled. Right. Struggle getting this line back on. solid. Yeah, so now in the cab, got a bit of fluid in the reservoir now, and we have a little bit of resistance. Obviously it's going to need to be bled out, but it's a good start. So we'll go to our slave cylinder. There we go. I nearly called it a master cylinder, but yeah, a slave cylinder, which is on the actual clutch itself, or it should be up the side of the gearbox. And we'll roll under and we'll hook a bleeder up to it, with a little hose going down into it, and we'll pump the pedal a couple of times and try and see if we can't force all of the air out of the system. Rightio, so I don't know if you can see up there, there's our clutch slave cylinder. It's got a hard line going to it, and just above that there's a little sort of looks like a grease circ, but that's a bleed nipple, and that's what we've got to take off to bleed the clutch out. So as I'm doing this one man, I'll show you a little trick for bleeding a clutch out by yourself, and it's pretty good because it doesn't take too long to do it either, which is really nice. Rightio, so we've got a one man bleed set up right here. So very simple idea. You want to get a little cup or bottle, something or other, and you want to affix the hose right here so that it comes down and sits in a little bit of fluid. So obviously you're going to have a little bit of fluid filled up, but you want to have the fluid right above the level of the hose going down into it. As what will happen is, when you go to pump the pedal, obviously let your bleeder off and leave it off. You don't have to keep opening and closing it while you're doing it this way. You simply open your bleeder and you pump the clutch slowly in and out a couple of times while keeping an eye on the level of fluid in the master cylinder. And if you look down here, you'll be able to see the bubbles coming down this line here. This is the one that comes out of your bleeder on the slave cylinder. You'll be able to see the bubbles raising out of here when you push the clutch in, but when you release the clutch slowly, it will only suck clean fluid back in. It won't suck any air bubbles in. So effectively, every time you push the clutch in, you're pushing the bubbles out, but when you're pulling it in, you're pulling clean fluid back in. So obviously eventually this level will start to rise as you keep doing it, which is why I said make sure you watch the level in the master cylinder. But over time the bubbles will keep on dispersing out of the system until you're just continuously getting clean fluid going either way whenever you pump the pedal. And at that point in time you are then free to nip up the bleed nipple and test your clutch operation. Obviously, if the clutch still feels a bit spongy, you're going to have to do this a couple more times to get it good. But usually, once you've got all that bubbles out, it should work quite good. Okay, so we've got the nipple cracked. Our little bleeder setup is in place with the fluid level above the bottom of the hose in the container. So what we'll do is we'll come over here. Obviously, sure before we start, we'll have a look at that level. Might top it up just a smidge. There we go, that'll do, that's way too much. Now what we'll do is we'll pop in and slowly depress our pedal and release it, depress it, release it. Have a look at our fluid levels in the cylinder and also our cup. You can see that it's dragging fluid back up. Our master cylinder's dropped a little bit, so we're going to have to keep a good eye on it. Just keep doing that. Constantly. It's starting to get a little bit of a feel to it. Not the greatest, but it's something. Have a look at our cup, which is starting to fill up with a bit of fluid. And our master cylinder is starting to go down. Put a bit more fluid into it. There we go, that'll do. And I'll just keep doing this until I can get it to a right feel and no air bubbles coming out of it. So I'll leave you with it and I'll get back to you once I've finished bleeding, because this will take quite some time and a couple of pedal pumps to actually get it to sort of work as it should. Rightio, so I've got it somewhat bled out and we have actually really good pedal feedback. So put the cap on, and mind you, this probably only took maybe 20 or 30 pumps, I think, which is really not that much considering what I've heard some other blokes had to do on theirs. So I've got the battery hooked up and we'll give it a crank and see whether we have any clutch action. Alright, neutral. There we go. Right up. Okay, so you can see that's sort of where it starts pressing. Shoot all the way down, go into reverse. Well, we're not moving anywhere, so what do I do now? I'll let the clutch out and we'll see if it jams trying to go. Yep, that works. And I'll try and see if we can't. I don't want to creep anywhere further forward because it's currently sitting on blocks at the moment, but we'll see if we can get the motor to sort of die down a bit if we let the clutch out. Seems to want to move at least. Bloody beautiful. So we've now got a clutch. Rightio, so just for the sake of the video, I cannot get the brakes to bleed unfortunately. So we'll have to get either a kit or a master cylinder, whichever's cheaper for the brakes. And we'll put that in and see if we can get any life out of it. So at the moment it goes down and then it doesn't really want to pump fluid, so yeah, as I said, either just going to put a kit through it or get a whole new master cylinder. But the clutch works and we've got the tyre somewhat fixed for now. It's better than it was, but it's still not great. Not really going to be great without tyre sealing in it. So, but I'm going to take it for a little bit of a whip now, see how it drives at least. So I guess it's a moment of truth and we'll see what it does, or what it doesn't do. Have it. It's moved, so somewhere. The brakes are very tight, so it's not a problem that we've got no foot brakes, because at the moment we're sitting on a little bit of an incline and it's holding its own, so that's quite good. The steering is just phenomenally heavy. I don't know what the go is there, but and it keeps jumping out of first, so on under load it jumps out of first, so I've no idea why that is. We're going to first now, I'll just hold it in. very good. Yeah, we'll park it somewhere a bit more hospitable, and I'll get one of those master cylinder, or that master cylinder sorted out hopefully. So at least we know it moves. So that's a good start. It's not making any funny noises, although all of the uni joints in it definitely need to be renewed at some point. Found some more fresh uni joints in the Land Rover. So on that, seems to go alright.